any woman who not only stands by, but joins in on the actions of an abuser, in my opinion, during Black Women's Black Women's, Hispanic Women's, Black Women's Month, you are just as bad. Period.
VBS, I just turned the water on. Big ol' flex, shit you never saw before. These niggas chasing me like waterfalls. Keeping on my truck, look like brains.
Now, before we continue with this video, I need to talk to you guys about something. Republicans are threatening to shut down the government if they're unable to take away health care from millions of people. Millions of working class folks who are just trying to provide for their families. Republicans want to raise the costs or eliminate health care for these people. Democrats support and will vote for a bipartisan budget that doesn't eliminate tax credits for healthcare or gives new tax breaks to the super wealthy and elite. So far, Republicans have refused to work together in order to address these priorities. Budgets reflect priorities and values in this country. So the fact that Republicans are choosing to prioritize the wealthy and the elite and big corporations, even if it means a government shutdown, that should let you know where they are as a party. And it should let you know where we're possibly headed. Democrats are not going to stop fighting to lower the cost of health care for working families and the everyday person. But we do need your help. Call your local reps. Call your local reps ASAP and let them know where you stand.
What's up, guys? It's your sister, Jessie. Well, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure that you subscribe so you can join the Black Women's Tribe during Black Women's Voyage, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Black Women's, Latino People, Black Women's Month. Why y'all ain't remind me that it is Hispanic Heritage Black Women's Month?
Don't know what to say. Mi gente Latino.
Y'all are not on y'all job. Y'all know I love the Hispanics. Y'all, look at me, looking real Puerto Rican, okay? Real Taino in this bitch, okay? Why is y'all not on y'all job? I need y'all to help me with these Black Women's Month. We need to be honoring all the Black women's, okay? And it is Black Women's Hispanic Heritage Black Women's Month. And I want to honor the Latinos. Mi gente!
Don't know what to say. Mi gente Latino.
Okay? Speaking of the Latinos, did y'all see the announcement that Bad Bunny will be performing at Super Bowl? I have a lot of thoughts on that, but baby, I got to brush up on my Spanish. De colores se vistan los campos en la primavera. I got to brush up on my Spanish, child. If I sound under the weather, I am. Your sister is down with the period flu. I cannot believe this. This is my second month in a row having the period flu. I don't know what is going on. Like, is it not enough that I have to bleed for a week? Is it not enough that I have to feel like I'm getting Jeffrey Dahmered on the inside, being sliced up, rotisseried on the inside while I'm alive? No, now I have to have period flu. So I have to have a headache, fever, joint pain, back pain, a runny nose, and unstoppable coughing. Like, I'm not understanding what's going on. Is anybody else going through the period flu? Like, am I the only person who now, when I have my period, I have to have a flu attached to that? That is how my body is functioning now. And I don't understand what I did to deserve this. Okay? I'm currently on Dayquil, Robitussin, and Tylenol 800. I might pull out my Vicodin. That's in how much pain I am right now. Like, I'm in so much pain. But whatever, I'm still finna clock in, though. What's going on? Again, subscribe. Make sure that you like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. And, yeah, keep me in your prayers, child. Hopefully, you guys are having a good start to your week. Last week, I was at the CBC. I will be giving y'all a proper recap on that. But, yeah, y'all, I'm back home with the period flu. I actually left one day early from the CBC because I could feel me getting sick the night before I left. So I changed my flight that next day. I'm like, oh no, like I could feel it. And literally, like I felt like I started coughing, I started sneezing, and then like my period came on. Like it was literally Period flu. It was ridiculous. But anyway, let's get into today's episode of not episode. But anyway, let's get into today's topic. I really want to talk about Miss Dear Anna, Caresha Young Miami, Giselle Maxwell, Brownlee. What prompted this video? Actually, I wanted to do this video 2 weeks ago, but I'm happy I did it because there were developments last week when we saw her Dear Anna letter that she wrote for Diddy. But I want to start off talking about this with this question. Do we owe Caresha Young Miami, Giselle Maxwell, Pink Powder Puff Girl, Brownlee an apology? I want to ask that because a couple weeks back, Santana was on Carlos King's podcast, and he asked this question.
And so I'm like, now that everything kind of gone away, it's like, y'all don't think y'all owe her an apology?
So Santana believes that the public owes Caresha an apology. And so I want to ask you guys who are watching this video right now, do you believe that we owe Caresha an apology? Do you believe the public, who had a lot of thoughts on her involvement with Diddy, do you believe that the public owes her an apology? So first and foremost, I want to start off with the last development, which is the Dear Your Honor letter. So we all know that Diddy's sentencing is coming up very soon, and Caresha wrote a letter to the judge presiding over his case. And the letter reads accordingly. Dear Your Honor, my name is Caresha Brownlee. I'm a mother, daughter, sister, and a hip-hop artist who has spent years in the public eye. I want to be clear that I cannot speak on or defend anything that may have happened before I met Sean Combs. I do not condone any wrongdoing. I can only speak from my personal experience and the man I've come to know over the past 4 years. For 3 of those years, I was in a public relationship with Sean. Not me sounding like I'm from Brooklyn. But for 3 of those years, I was in a public relationship with Sean. And during that time, I witnessed and came to know a different person than the one often portrayed. So just so y'all know, one of the very obvious ways to tell that someone used ChatGPT for their writing is those 2 dashes. Very, very obvious that this was a ChatGPT apology. Whenever you see those dashes where it kind of gives like a pause, maybe it should be like a semicolon, or maybe it should be the start of a new sentence, just know that they ran this through ChatGPT. They just asked ChatGPT to write them an apology. But anyway, and came to know a different person than the one portrayed. Behind the scenes, he was loving, genuine, supportive, and always encouraging. He motivated me, believed in me, and helped me grow both personally and professionally. I'm writing this letter because I believe it's important for the court to know the side of Sean that isn't always seen or spoken about. The man who poured into others, who gave opportunities, who led by example, and who loved deeply. He helped shape me both professionally and personally. He believed in me, pushed me to grow, and taught me how to be a better businesswoman. He helped me find balance between chasing my dreams and being present for my family, because that's what he did. No matter how busy he was, he never missed holidays or special moments with his family. One of the most meaningful memories was when he took me to my first Met Gala. Whew. It wasn't just about the event, it was about what it represented. Sean has always made a priority to open doors for Black people, to make sure we are seen, heard, and valued in spaces where we've historically been excluded. That night reminded me that we belong in every room, at every table, and in every conversation. He constantly encouraged me, and so many others, to dream bigger, walk in confidence, and never shrink who we are to make others comfortable. He also gave me a voice by providing me a platform on his network to speak for the culture and connect with people in a way that was real and authentic. That opportunity changed the direction of my career and showed me the impact one person can have when they choose to uplift others. Beyond all of that, I've seen him give back to his community over and over again. In 2022, we fed the homeless together on Thanksgiving, but that was just one example. There were so many moments where he gave quietly, privately, without cameras, because his heart genuinely wanted to help. I've also witnessed him do real inner work. He made the choice to check himself into anger management, start therapy, and commit to physical healing through therapy. That takes strength, humility, and self-awareness. He didn't do it for show, He did it because he wanted to grow and to become a better person. In my personal experience, Sean is not a danger or a threat to the community. He is a man of God, Someone who uplifts, supports, and inspires those around him to be better mentally, physically, and spiritually. But more than anything, he's a father, and his kids are the ones who look up to him the most. They need him. His presence, love, and guidance matter deeply in their lives. I truly believe that he belongs at home with his family, the people who mean the most to him, and who continue to be his greatest source of purpose and strength. Judge, that's a good man.
He's a good man, Savannah. A good man.
Thank you. Caresha, Young Miami, Giselle Maxwell, Pink Powder Puff Girl, Brownlee. Yes. He took me to my first Met Gala. Dear Your Honor, I would love to see Caresha read this letter to the class. Whether she likes to admit it or not, Caresha does condone violence. And that letter is a prime example that she does. She is an abuse apologist. Period. You are an apologist for an abuser. Period. Whether you want to admit it or not. But not only is Caresha an apologist for an abuser, depending on who you ask, she's also a co-conspirator. If you ask Lil Rodney, who named her in his lawsuit, and I believe she's named in another lawsuit as well, Young Miami was accused of harassing his victims. She was accused of transporting that pink powder. She was also named as a sex worker for Diddy. And outside of being named in those lawsuits, at least 2 of those claims can be proven from her social media activity. We'll get into that later. I am of the unpopular belief or unpopular opinion that people who are like Caresha are almost just as bad as Diddy. Literally. I feel like simply because if you are watching someone abuse others, if you are condoning their actions by joining in or still making space for them, still holding space for them in public spaces where they can taunt their victims or they can collect more, you're just as bad. You are just as bad to me. You might not be as bad as the abuser, but I mean, you're pretty close because you are very much aware of what they're doing and you're still holding space for that person. And a lot of times the people who do this, it is because they benefit from the actions of that abuser. And so while I'm very happy for Caresha that she went to the Met Gala, while going to the Met Gala, she was taunting his victims. She was transporting pink powder on his behalf. And she, too, was his sex worker, according to these lawsuits.
Golden showers, meaning when the guy pees on you, pee on you everywhere. You like it?
I just like it.
You do?
And so, in my opinion, that doesn't make her any better. She might not be exactly as bad as Diddy, but it doesn't make her any better, in my personal opinion. My opinion. Any woman who not only stands by, but joins in on the actions of an abuser, in my opinion, during Black Women's Voyage, Black Women's, Hispanic Women's, Black Women's Month, you are just as bad. Period. But while we're talking about the Met Gala, so many folks, I remember how social media was just in like explosive uproar about Young Miami being at the Met Gala. She got a podcast. She's doing all these things. And look at how he elevated her. He bought her, I think he bought her like a Phantom or something. I don't know cars like that, but I think he bought her either a Phantom or a Rolls Royce, or maybe those are both the same cars, chat. I don't know. But so many of you all were glamorizing her relationship with a known abuser. And what I mean by that is we didn't need Cassie's lawsuit to know that Diddy was an abuser. And what tells me that is the reaction to the lawsuit itself. Because see, while there were a lot of debates online, which I thought was really ridiculous about how, whether or not Cassie deserved what she got, one thing I never saw was anyone denying that he did the things that she was accusing him of. Nobody debated that because Diddy has had a long-standing track record. So y'all were glamorizing her being with a very well-known abuser, and not just physical abuser, financial abuser. You let his artist say it. Like, so many of you guys were glamorizing that because she went down to the Met Gala. And let statistics tell it, most of you guys who were glamorizing that are also abuse victims, which was insane to me. Insane to me. But that's social media for you. That's the public for you, is that a lot of people who are also victims will glorify this. That's another topic for another day. But I do want to ask you guys a question. Those of you guys who have said for years how he elevated her career. What did being at the Met Gala do for her now? Okay, she went to the Met Gala in 2022. What does that mean for her today? Okay, she had a podcast on a network. What does that mean for her today? Where is her career today? I don't know if y'all understand this, but Young Miami was half of the City Girls, a very successful rap group despite her mediocrity behind the booth, despite her mediocrity on stage, despite her lack of lyricism. A very successful duo called the City Girls, which, by the way, I've seen a lot of you guys have this narrative of how JT was a bad friend to her. I know the Cardi diss last week kind of reignited that. And I'm here to tell you, although I do not know those two personally, I am of the very strong belief that it was Caresha's ties to Diddy that split that girl group apart. Both of those men have allegations. But I think that only one is very male-centered, and that one is Caresha. JT definitely took rapping seriously, and for those of you guys who doubted that, we've seen where she is now with her career, with what is it, The Hood Cinderella? I can't remember the name of her project, but JT had a very good mixtape, I believe last year. I think it was last year. Has had a very good run as a solo artist. She was Grammy nominated this year alongside Doechii for their remix on what's that song? Na 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 na, these hoes they killing me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm forgetting the names, but she's Grammy nominated. She didn't get that with the City Girls, but she got that as a solo artist. She took her career very seriously as a lyricist. Caresha was very happy to be tied to a man and have her success be tied to a man. Caresha could have had that podcast without Diddy, but no, she chose to have it alongside him, the first episode being alongside him, announcing to the world that they go together real big.
I feel like you single, but we go together. I'm not laughing.
Yeah. Hold on.
It ain't no hold on.
We go together now?
Real bad.
Even though you single, but we go together. She pointed out that he's single, but we go together real bad. She acknowledged that this man is not her man, but is her man. She acknowledged that she's standing in line. She's in a long line of women trying to be this man's woman, basically, right? And you all glorified that. I was one of the very few. I remember JT dragging me because of that whole Go Poppy moment. Go Poppy.
Cub, me supporting my man that ain't my man. Sticking right by his side.
When Diddy stood up and acknowledged everyone but Caresha during his Lifetime Achievement speech down to the BET Awards. Even acknowledged Cassie. There she was with that Go Poppy sign.
Cub, me supporting my man that ain't my man. Sticking right by his side.
Embarrassing. Male-centered. And can you imagine the gall of this man to name Cassie like that, knowing what he put that girl through for over a decade? But again, for those of you guys who thought that, Diddy was elevating her, what has that elevation done for her now? Fast forward 3 years later. Name me 5 lines that went super hard off of a Young Miami and Diddy collaboration right now or die. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. You can't. You can't. What did it get her? It got her dropped from her label. So even in her Dear Your Honor letter, how did being Diddy's influencer elevate her? Seriously. Seriously. Yeah, oh, she had a podcast. She was Diddy's influencer. Everything she did while promoting his businesses, his network, his alcohol, De Leon this, De Leon that. Mind you, De Leon ain't his no more. Diageo got rid of that. Remember the lawsuit with Diageo where they've said that for the last, over 10 years, they turned him into a billionaire. Mind you, he invested zero into the brand. And despite all that, despite them for years asking him to contribute, he used, I'm black. Y'all need to invest more in black people. Y'all need, that whole black liberation thing. No, he used black liberation to become a billionaire that does not pay his artists, who was never paying his artists, who wasn't paying her. If you think he was paying her and he wasn't paying Diageo, she was basically a glorified Diddy influencer, sex worker, pink powder puff girl. That was her career. That was her career. She was a Ghislaine Maxwell. She was the bottom bitch. That was her career. Instead of being focused on being a successful rapper, instead of being focused on growing her brand, a brand she already had, by the way. Because make no mistake about it, Caresha didn't need Diddy. Diddy needed her. But bimbos like her are convinced that they have to tie themselves to men like Diddy to be successful. And that's just not the truth. It's just not the truth. He needed her. He wanted to tap into a younger audience. He wanted to continue his billionaire status. He knew what was down the pipeline. He's not dumb. He's not dumb. When you look at the timeline, them getting together 2021, around that time, Cassie was coming for him. He knew it. And so he needed to attach himself to someone who was already successful, to a bimbo. And she was his bimbo. It's sad to say it, but that's the reality. Going back to the Dear Your Honor letter. What the fuck is a Dear Your Honor? What the fuck is a Dear Your Honor? But going back to the Dear Your Honor letter, right? This is the man that Caresha said she got to know. A good God-fearing man. A good godly man, right? This is the man who you're writing this letter for. Which, mind you, that same man, Diddy, when Cassie first filed her lawsuit, not only did he deny that he ever did any of the things that she claimed that he did to her in her lawsuit, but he also claimed that she blackmailed him. She was trying to blackmail him, right? This is what he said in response to that. This is your godly man. This is your man of God, Caresha, that you wrote that letter about, that you wrote that letter to that judge for. A man that did all those things and then lied about it. And not only lied, but then accused his victim of being a blackmailer, knowing damn well that there was evidence that he did the things that she stated that he did. So much so that he settled her lawsuit immediately once that footage was released. Immediately, right? And then he had to come to the internet with this bullshit.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom. but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness.
And if you take notice to his apology video, he apologizes specifically for what took place in that video. I apologize for my actions in that video. He doesn't own the fact that he abused that woman for years. He doesn't own the fact that he is an abuser. He never owns that. He only apologizes for the actions that took place in that video. So again, this is your godly man. This is your man of God. This is your good man, Savannah. That's a good man, Savannah.
He's a good man, Savannah. A good man.
That's your good man, Savannah. Someone who would still lie despite going to therapy, still taunt his victim by lying on her and shifting blame towards her instead of owning what he did. But see, Caresha doesn't have a problem with Diddy taunting his victims because just like Lil Rodney cited in his lawsuit, she was taunting Cassie on Instagram, literally liking comments that would call Cassie's victimhood into question. There was this one comment that she liked that went viral, which said this: "Yes, queen, let the people know you're busy enjoying your life and not playing victim on the stand. We love you." And this comment was left under a video of her exercising. And yeah, she liked the comment. She liked the comment. I remember this going viral on socials at the time. She liked the comment. So much so that people on Twitter had a field day with this. Why would Caresha like a comment that taunts Cassie, calling her a fake victim? Because just like Lil Rodney said, she harasses his victims. So he abuses them, she harasses them.
Like, okay, when I got with him, he was just whole other shit. Like, you know my lyrics and stuff. And it's just like, when I got with him, he was just a man. Like, it was more of like, okay, we ain't gonna do that. We gonna sit, we gonna communicate, we gonna get solutions. What's going on? Like, we ain't even going that route. So that was my experience with him.
So a lot of the things that people really like say about him, you didn't experience that as in dating. That's not something that you saw. So is that the reason why you never said anything? Is that the reason why when all of these allegations and lawsuits came apart, like, why didn't you speak?
Because I can't speak on something that wasn't my experience. And I can't speak on something that I don't know. I can't speak on these allegations because I wasn't around at the time. I don't know that person and that wasn't my experience.
So with you being, I feel like, a survivor of domestic violence, he never hit you in a relationship. He was never violent. Was that something that you had to tolerate, or that's just that wasn't a part of, because I feel like that's the biggest thing to him right now is, what he going through in these lawsuits and, that video that came out. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people are wondering, was that your experience? And I know personally that you've been through domestic violence before, and I don't think that's something that, I know that's something that you've grown from and that you don't tolerate.
I've been through domestic violence in 2 relationships. And I told myself, after the second relationship, I would never put myself in that situation again, especially now being I'm a mom. I'm a mom. I was a mother then, but like, having a daughter, like, I would never put myself in that position. I don't stand for domestic violence. I'm just not going for that.
So Caresha doesn't stand for domestic violence, but you stand for harassing domestic violence victims. Oh, because when you got with Diddy, that wasn't your experience. You can't speak on the allegations, but you can taunt Cassie, who was a victim of his, a proven victim. And it's so sad that even with evidence, you and other people will have that type of commentary or like that type of commentary when it comes to her, a proven victim of his violence. Is it Uchiwali or is it one mic? Do you condone it or nah? Because you like commentary that shows that you do condone it. You write letters that show that you do condone it. You transport pink powder for him that shows that you condone it. According to Lil Rodney's lawsuit. You a sex worker, that show like it so
Mwen pa kompran,
m'pa kompran parce que ce soit ou reme violence lan ou pas reme violence lan. Ou pas ka gen tous les deux. C'est pas tous les deux. You have to choose one. You can't have one getter. No, you have to choose one. Choose one. Uchiwali on one mic. Choose one. Prends yon seulement. Ou pas ka prendre tous les deux, non? Prends yon seulement. Okay? During Black Women's, Hispanic Black Women's Month. And we also have to acknowledge how she taunted Gina, who failed to show up on the stand, right? And we all know why she failed to show up on the stand. She's scared. She's scared of what Diddy might do when he does, get released. He's not going to be in prison forever. Even with the sentencing, I think his maximum would be like 6 years. So he's not going to be behind bars forever. So I understand her fear. But do y'all remember the exchange between Caresha and Gina on Twitter? If you don't, let me remind you. So this was Caresha's response to Gina, I believe, putting pictures of her and Diddy in her Insta stories, because we all know that all of y'all were fighting to be the top bottom bitch. That is something that came out. 50 Cent allegedly told us who one of the witnesses were, and we all know what her story. Well, I don't know if we all do. I know I covered the lawsuit, the case a little bit on my channel. But we all know that there was a contest of some sort, at least between Gina, Young Miami, and allegedly 50 Cent's baby mama, okay? And so this was Young Miami's response to Gina posting pictures of her and Diddy on her Insta story. Gina, you've been down bad ever since I came into the picture, ho. You've been crying for a baby for 10 years, ho. You've been around as a bitch that eat when he feel like it. You a eater. You the same bitch that was crying on Tasha K because you wanted a baby. Poor Sushi. Mind you, if you go watch Caresha's episode with Diddy, she's in that episode telling Diddy that she wants kids. They're in a relationship, and she's telling him that she wants more kids. Mind you, that episode was aired, I believe, in June. In December, he was welcoming baby love. So you and Gina have that in common. Both of you wanted a child by this man. And what makes her tweet so sinister, two things. It's racist, obviously. It's racist. And I love how the Black community overlooked that. Black community overlooked that, but when it came to Love Island, y'all suddenly became, okay, that's another conversation for another time. But anyway, it was racist, but also in Gina's sit down with Tasha K, she talked about how this man stomped her baby out. She literally suffered a miscarriage. Like, allegedly. That is what she alleged.
Allegedly. This is all alleged.
That she suffered a miscarriage because he stomped her baby out. And here you are making fun of that. What? You want a baby, bitch? I have a career, hoe. You a certified freak. You haven't heard from Diddy since the awards, reminiscing on abortions. Let that hurt go, Chun-Li. And this is the tweet that took me down right here. And it's still up. It's still up. You can see me clicking on it. If I wanted you to eat my pussy, Diddy would have had you on your knees, hoe. You a eater. You knew what this man was putting this woman through. You knew. And before the Cassie lawsuit, which would come the following year, you basically told us that this is what he was doing. You knew. You knew. We're well aware of the abuse that his other victims was going through. You taunted them, you harassed them. And so we have to go back to Santana saying or suggesting that the public owes a woman who did all of this an apology.
And so I'm like, now that everything kind of gone away, it's like, y'all don't think y'all owe her an apology? Everybody just kind of like, okay, no. As loud as y'all was trying to cancel her, as loud as that shit was, pop y'all shit down. Damn, my bad, sis.
So to answer Santana's question, fuck no.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no.
Fuck no. Nobody owes her an apology for anything. Now, here's the thing, right? While she's not an abuser, she still is a co-conspirator. We have actual evidence of her doing the things, some of the things that she's mentioned in lawsuits doing. One of them being harassing his victims, okay? We also see her condoning the actions of an abuser. So what is the apology for exactly? What is the apology for? Now, in his sit down with Carlos, he did say that, he felt that some people wanted her to be a victim. It's not about the fact that people wanted her to be a victim. People are not dumb. People are not stupid. People can do math. People can put 2 and 2 together and see that it equals 4. Some way, somehow, she did fall victim to this. Now, we don't know to what degree, but what we do know is, in addition to that most likely happening, she made fun of other victims and she helped him commit crimes. Period. And immediately following his verdict, she was the first one to celebrate via her Insta stories.
As you can see right here, so many people, so many outlets were able to grab this screen grab of her using Justin Bieber doing the snapping emoji thingamajig that black women are doing. You already know he gonna do what black people do. He gonna, one thing about Justin Bieber, he gonna take from the blacks now. But literally didn't even allow the dust to settle. And this is what she was doing as the verdict came in.
First one to celebrate with, Justin Bieber doing the... Imagine being privy, just like the public is. Imagine being privy to all the information that was released during that trial. Even if you feel that the charges didn't, fit the crime and such and such, the fact that she could listen to former assistants, former staff members. There was one staff member who talked about how this man violated her sexually on her birthday. Kid Cudi confirmed how he was abusing Cassie, even confirmed how he tried to delete him. Imagine hearing all of that and coming to the internet. Apology for what exactly? Apology for what exactly? Nobody owes Caresha a fuck thing. Nobody owes her that. Nobody owes her an apology for anything. She owes his victims an apology. She owes herself an apology for being a bimbo. Okay? And here's the thing, right? Despite my thoughts, this video or other videos that people will create, She's going to be fine. When he comes out of prison, they're going to get back to doing what they do because they never left each other. Diddy's going to go back to being with billionaires and trillionaires. Like, things will go on as if none of this happened. The public will go up to Diddy, take pictures with him, be at his parties, because ultimately, just like Caresha and just like Santana, who talked about how much fun Diddy was in this interview, I think even on another interview, I think he sat down in another podcast where we talk about, oh, Diddy was fun. We know that he was fun to you, so you don't care that he's an abuser. And good for you and folks like Caresha, the world alike doesn't care either. So it will be business as usual when he comes out. But having the thought or the suggestion that we owe that lady an apology for fuck what? For fuck what? An apology? Apology for what? Pukisa. Apology pukisa. Drop that in the comments and let me know if you think that she's owed an apology by the public. And let me know your thoughts. I look forward to seeing what this sentencing is going to be. I do hope that he gets the max. I just really want this to be a message, send out a message. I hate that the jury was so eager to get to July 4th. It's July 4th weekend. They wasn't trying to. Was it July 4th weekend or Memorial Day weekend? I can't remember what weekend it was, but they was like, yeah, we got something to throw on the grill. We ain't got time for this. Free that man. Like, it was just so ridiculous considering all the things that were revealed, but it is what it is. But I look forward to him being sentenced to the max. I believe it's 6 years. I hope he gets that, but I won't be surprised if he doesn't. I think that this judge has done a good job at keeping his ass behind bars. Like, no, you're staying behind bars. You're not leaving. I think that was a great move. Send a message. Send a message loud and clear. But unfortunately, I know that there's plenty more Diddies. It don't stop, can't stop. Take that. Drop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
VBS, I just turned the water on. Big old flex, shit you never saw before.